If you've been following me for, any length of time, you know that um, I've been focusing on financial videos, and I do videos for all people, right? For everybody, for men, for women, regardless of the level of melanin that you have, because there's only one race, y'all. That's human. So unless you got something to share with us, there's only one race. That's human. And everybody that is alive today, everybody comes from Africa, if you go back far enough. Okay, so that's always been my approach when it comes to trying to help people. And I've helped people become millionaires. I've helped people quit their jobs. I've helped people supplement their income. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more, but I'm just going to say for today, and today only, this video is going to be specifically for black men. And I'm not going to hold back. And I am going to name names. So this is about as raw and uncut as I will ever be, because I believe the message that I have, it needs to be said, it needs to be heard, and frankly, we need to do something about it. Okay, so what's the problem? The problem is, if you know anything about history, you know that black men have been disenfranchised more than any other group, including black women. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that in this video, but black men have been purposefully targeted, disenfranchised, killed, experimented upon more than any other group, specifically black men. Okay, and so, and that's globally. See, that's what I didn't know maybe 5, 6 years ago. Being ignorant to certain things, which is okay to admit that you're ignorant to certain things. I literally thought that what we went through only happened in America. But as I've traveled to different places, as I've done more research, I've learned that the experiences that I have were being shared by black men all over the world. Okay? So that should give us, some type of camaraderie when it comes to working with each other and things like that, because it's like we need to try to lift each other up, right? We need targeted plans. We need mentors. We need people willing to share to help us get out of the situation that we're in. And no matter what the situation is, most of it, generally speaking, comes down to money. So, before I could help anybody else, I had to figure out how to help myself, right? And so, like a lot of people, I grew up poor, extreme poor. So didn't have any advantages. But, by the time I was 20 years old, I was lucky enough to qualify for a good job. Really, I created my income because it was a minimum wage job. But I was able to turn that minimum wage job into a job where I was making $20,000 a month, because I was one of the top salespeople in the country. So I've always created my own income. But from that, I got my first taste into what it was like to be a black man, at least in terms of having a job. I got plenty of taste before then, but I was always told, if you go out there and make something happen and get a good job, and you're a good person and you're a good member of society, that that's all you needed to do. Well, that's not true. Me making all of that money created so much jealousy in the white men that I was surrounded by, because I was literally the only black guy that worked at this company. They conspired and got me fired for something that never happened, something I didn't do. It was just wild, and that devastated me. Right. So since that time, and I've had other jobs since then. I had another job where you had to work 90 days before your benefits kicked in. And at this time, I was married. I think, yeah, I think I was married. So I have a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So you work for 90 days, then your benefits kick in. Well, I worked hard. Stayed late. This was a salary job. I'm always the type of person, I'm going to overdo it. So everybody else going home at 5, I'm staying till 7, 8, 9 o'clock sometimes, still showing up on time the next day, because I wanted to do my job well. And on day 89, they fired me. Literally the next day, I would have qualified for benefits. Day 89, they fired me. So, and other type situations like that happen, right? I was in another situation where, again, I was doing well, another sales job. The number one salesperson at that time, because I had just really got there, saw me as a threat. And, basically, once he identified me as a threat, pretty much called me nigger every day, and everything that you could possibly imagine. Put stuff in my food, put things on my desk, all of that. And because of where I grew up, you know what I'm saying, I was always taught, not to snitch. So, I'm like, I'm going to put my head down and I'm just going to focus on my job. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't say anything to anybody, which who knows if that would have made a difference. But I was told, yeah, that was a mistake. And so anyway, he said something to me one day, and I just had it at that point. And so I reacted with words. They were strong words, but it was just words. I told him, I said, if you do anything else to me, anything else, if you say anything else to me, I'm going to rearrange your face. Your mama not going to be able to recognize you. That's what I said. So immediately, what'd he do? Go to management. They let me close this major deal that I was working on. And 3 minutes after I closed the deal, they fired me. I didn't even get the commission. Okay? So, those were my experiences working in a job. And so I knew from those experiences, despite pressure from my wife, despite pressure from my wife's family, oh, you got to work, you got to do this, I had tried that and that didn't work. So I knew that the only way that I was going to make money was, for me to make it myself. And so that sent me on this journey of trying to figure out how to create my own money. So, from that point on, I started looking at, how to make my own money. And, that led me down the path of, stocks, penny stocks, real estate, and you name it. And I studied like nobody's business. I read everything I could. Never went to college for this or anything like that. But, I got that from my grandmother. My grandmother didn't even finish 8th grade, or she might have just finished 8th grade. But when it came to the Bible, and, she was an assistant pastor, she would go toe to toe with, the most qualified scholars over the world. I've watched her do it. So I kind of got that from her, just have the ability to absorb knowledge. Right. And long story short, after some years, I finally figured things out. Right. So I'm finally making money, just enough to support my family and things like that. Finally able to get out of poverty and things like that. This is the beginning, and so immediately I'm like, okay, well, I've now figured this out. Okay, so now where my heart is okay. Let me try to help others. And specifically I wanted to help who? Black men. But again, I never on purpose target anybody, but in my heart I'm like, I know when other brothers see me, they're gonna want to do, whatever it is that I was doing at the time. Okay. And so the first area that I had good success in was options trading. A lot of the strategies that you guys hear about now and stuff, I was literally doing 10 years ago, right? So, I had success with that. And, everybody that I knew that was struggling like me, I'm like, yo, hey, brother, hey, man, check this out, I'll show you how to do it. I'm showing receipts. This is the money that I've made, da 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 da. And literally, out of maybe hundreds of people, one person, decided to take a chance, and that person made money, and this person was down on his luck, had struggles, all of that. One black person, I should say. Everybody else that I helped was not black. And I actually helped create millionaires with options, and they were all not black. Okay? When I knew people that, had $10,000, $20,000, that if they had followed the methods that I laid out, they would have been millionaires too, or close to it, and didn't listen. So that was the first thing. Like, okay, all right. So then, around options time is when I discovered Bitcoin. Okay, so again, I'm like, yo, I didn't even understand it 100%. Just to be honest, at that time. But I'm like, yo, man, I'm getting into this. I'm hearing a lot of things, right? Get involved. And literally, and same people now. maybe that was a problem. Same people. I'm like, because these were people that wasn't making money. These were people that were down on their luck. Because we were all going through the same things. Right? And so, I'm like, yo, and this is when I got in at Bitcoin at $1,000, but I really started to really understand things when Bitcoin was like $150 when it dropped, 150, 200. And so I'm telling everybody, man, woman, and child, everybody, about Bitcoin. Like, yo, this is going to be huge. I think you should, invest. If you don't, want to invest a lot, just invest a little bit, so on and so forth. And literally nobody that I told got involved. Okay. We all know how that ended up. So where it starts changing for me is, again, when I see my brother struggling and we're not willing to take advice from each other. Because I started noticing some things. The same people that I was telling about legit opportunities wouldn't get into these legit opportunities, but they would get into these scams, things that to me were obvious scams. For example, there was a church, well-known church, where the pastor's son was basically running a Ponzi scheme. Now, I don't know that these brothers knew what a Ponzi scheme was, but it was obvious that it was a Ponzi scheme. And yet you had people pouring thousands upon thousands of dollars into this Ponzi scheme, and it ended up on the news. The dude stole $10 million. And why? Why did it happen? Because he came from a well-known family, and he always had on nice suits and nice clothes. Again, not from the Ponzi, but from the fact that his father was a well-known pastor and singer. I would say the name. I said I was going to drop names. I'm not going to drop this one. But some of y'all, in the Detroit area know who I'm talking about, right? But and I actually, talked to one of them. I'm like, bro, why would you? Now this is somebody telling me how much they hate their job. How much they want to leave, how much, they're being disrespected. And, they're telling me this stuff, right? And I'm like, yo, well, check out these opportunities. And they refuse, but yet you get into these Ponzi's. So that's the second time. I'm like, man, black men don't want to listen to other black men. And so that's where I'm going to kind of go from here, because that's really the issue. We don't want to listen to each other. We don't want to take advice from each other. We would rather take advice in all facets from people who don't look like us, people who don't have our background, right? If they put on a suit and they look a certain way and they drive a certain car or whatever, then they'll listen. For those of you who are wondering, I just got done working out. I got on, regular t-shirt, whatever. If you look at all my videos, I'm dressed pretty much the same way. Now, part of that is just because I like to be comfortable. But if I was really trying to sell something to somebody, do you not know that I would go and put on a suit and show cars and show houses? And if I was trying to take advantage of somebody, scam somebody or something like that, then that's what I would do. But specifically, I don't do that, because my Bible tells me that you should beware the person in fine clothes. It literally says that. You should beware the person that's wearing the nice suit. And in the black community, isn't it always the person in the nice suit that's generally scamming people? Isn't that normally the case? Right? So here's the first name. I don't even know if I had the last name right. There was a dude some years ago on YouTube named Jay Morrison. I believe it was. It was either Jay Morris or Jay Morrison or something like that. And he was running a scam. Let's just, keep it real. But yet he had all kind of followers. His videos are getting, 6-figure views. He's always wearing nice suits and stuff like that. And once I found out, because somebody reached out to me, because they know I'm going to research. Once I found out that it was a scam, usually I do expose videos and stuff like that. I don't do that when it comes to black men. If you notice, you look on my channels, I don't call out black men. This is the first time I've ever called out black men, because I don't believe that we should use our platform to condemn each other. The world condemns us enough. The world is afraid of us. They make up all these stories about us and all of that. I don't think we should use our platform to do that. So Jay was in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta. So what did I do? I reached out to him. I said, my brother, I'm reaching out to you. This is what I'm hearing. This is the information that I have. Can we talk about this? Let's discuss this we don't want this coming back on you. You don't want any blowback on you. You know what I'm saying? I'll help you, disseminate the information, whatever it is that you need me to do, I'll help you out. Never responded. And then those of you who know, what happened after that. He took everybody's money. People never got their investment back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, one of the videos that got a lot of views on this channel was the iMarkets Live breakdown video, where I was the first person on YouTube to reveal that was a scam. And two things happened. First of all, why was that successful? Because again, it was a guy in a suit that was selling, Black and Latino people primarily something. And so they looked at this dude in suits and all of that, and they just, put their money in, not knowing what it was about, and so on and so forth. Right? And so what did I do? For free, what did I do? I do a video detailing everything like few people would, every detail dating back to the dude's history, Chris Terry's history. And what do? I get attacked. Primarily from who? Primarily from Black men. Okay, again, similar situation. I had on a regular shirt. That particular shirt might have had some holes in it or something. Man, I don't care. If something came from my heart, I did that video. And I'm one of the highest earners in the world. And here I have broke people calling me out instead of saying, thank you, brother, we appreciate it, or we're going to look into it. I had people flat out saying, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You a hater. You this. Is always Black men trying to hold us down. All of this, and then what happens? Where are all the iMarkets Live millionaires, by the way? Where are they at? I haven't seen one. And there were literally hundreds of you on YouTube claiming that you were going to turn $54 into 2.1 million. Where did anybody make it? No, I don't think anybody did. But did anybody come back to me and say, brother, you were right? No. Didn't come back and say, I appreciate you for what you did. I appreciate you for sharing the information. By the way, since you obviously know what's going on, what other opportunities do you know of that maybe, we can participate? Now, there were a couple people out of, 54,000 views. There were a couple people who saw that, that was like, hey, man, okay, I need to stop doing this. What do you have? And those people joined me, and they're now making money, making significant passive income, right? Because they're part of my group, they're listening, they plugged in. Okay, but it's always few and far between. Another thing, I'm just telling you all the situations where, I tried to help my people and it backfired. Okay, there was a family, and I thought really good friends that I used to help out every year in terms of doing their taxes. Now, when they used to do their taxes, they used to get about $2,500 from their taxes. And so he told me that one year, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you should be getting more than that. And I'm like, let me do your taxes. And the wife is a Black couple. The wife tells me, before I do the taxes, you're not going to be able to get more than H&R Block get us. You're not going to be able to do this. I don't even know why you fooling with him. You shouldn't. This is the wife, okay? So when I came back and I said, okay, I did your taxes, and you're going to be getting back $7,000. It was like utter shock. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, you're going to be getting $7,000. Okay. Now, did she come to me and say, oh, my bad, I was wrong, brother? No, that didn't happen. Matter of fact, I haven't even thought about that until now. That's interesting. That should have been a clue. So literally for the next 15 years, do the math now. For the next 15 years, I did their taxes. Do the math. So that's like over 100,000. And this brother had a medical condition, was in between jobs and stuff, literally could not work. He didn't have no excuse. He has a debilitating disease and could not work. So I worked extra hard for them. And, this is a good brother. So I'm like, I want to, do the best that I can, right? So the last year that I did their taxes, I discovered another program. And this program was going to get them an extra $2,000. Okay? And so I'm like, look, if I understand the program correctly, I said, you're going to get another 2,000. Right? So instead of 7,000, you're going to get 9,000. So here's what I want to do. Since you weren't expecting that extra 2,000, let's take that extra 2,000 and invest it, because I'm doing some things or whatever. You're going to have complete control of your money. This is not me investing on your behalf. This is you following me and you having control of your money. Just follow me and let's invest that money and let's see what happens. And initially, the wife sort of, pulling her leg, whatever, agreed. Okay. Long story short, something happened with their tax return, something I had nothing to do with. You just had to update some numbers and stuff like that. It was not my fault, but I got blamed. And so when the situation happened, I said, look, this is nothing. You're going to get your money. It's just going to take a little longer. It was this other program that I had got them in. I'm like, they just want to make sure you qualify. So it wasn't like a slam dunk like they thought it was going to be, but they were going to get their money. Okay? And guess what? Eventually, they got their money. But it created such a discourse because for whatever reason, it's an extra $2,000 now. This ain't the original $7,000. It's an extra $2,000. We thinking, he has something to do with it. I done took the money. Like, I don't need y'all little $2,000. And so when they got the money, guess what? Of course, they didn't invest. So let me tell you exactly what would have happened with that $2,000. Conservatively, that $2,000, very extremely conservatively, would be worth about $200,000 right now. Okay, $2,000 to $200,000. And at the time, this person was like, literally, I literally thought that they were going to die in the next couple of years. That's how bad it was. And so I'm like, I know they don't have life insurance and stuff. What can I do to help? Again, trying to come from a good place. So I'm like, if this works, the wife can at least have some money set aside. They have children, all of that. Nope. Destroyed the relationship, destroyed the friendship, all because I'm trying to help people. Okay. All right. Next story. Again, got to drop a name. When Bitcoin was about 3,000, in fact, it was 3,800. There was a couple on YouTube, well known. And they were telling people about stocks and this and that, and they still are. Vanguard ETFs and all. And I'm like, look, you guys have done well with this, but you're missing a completely different asset class altogether. Right? I'm like, you're sitting on allegedly a couple million. Let's just take some of this money and put it in Bitcoin. This is when Bitcoin was $3,800. Okay, so this is me reaching out to them. Guess what their response was? Just take one guess. They blocked me. They blocked me. And these are people that I supported. I watched their channel, all of that. And, big supporter. They blocked me. Okay. Now, we all know whatever amount that they would have put in, we all know what that would have been, even if they had held to now. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about our rich journey. And you can tell them. Okay, because I'm like, okay, I'm sure people, that know a little something will live. And all I'm saying is this: am I expecting everybody to just jump when I say no? But what I'm speaking to is how we treat each other. Even if you're not going to do something, you respond. Somebody like me, you respond and you say, hey, well, tell me more, or let's get together, or whatever, let's do a Zoom, let's, whatever, or do you have a program? Do you have a course? So on and so, no, we don't even inquire when it comes to our own people. And so, specifically as it relates to black men, brothers, that we talk a lot about what white people do to us. We talk a lot about what the government does to us. We talk a lot about, women and so on and so forth. But we got to take personal responsibility. The people who are hurting us the most is us. When you don't reach out to people, all I wanted when I was going through, when I was trying to figure things out, was somebody to teach me something. And so do you know what my response would have been if a millionaire, a multimillionaire had reached out to me and said, hey, brother, let me show you this, even if it was going to cost me a little bit. And in most of these cases, every case that I've told you about up until now would have cost these people $0 and 0 cents. I wasn't selling anything. I'm just like, hey, you should get in this. Hey, just buy Bitcoin. Hey, I told people to buy Bitcoin for free. Everybody that follows me on Instagram, when I started my Instagram account, Bitcoin was $7,000. And people was like, okay, well, I don't have the money for the course or whatever, which is a lie, flat out lie, but that's what people say. Okay, because at that time my course was $60. So I've always tried to keep it affordable and all of that. So, that was a lie. But I'm like, so they like, what can I do? I'm like, well, if you can't do anything else, just buy Bitcoin. Been telling people that for free. Well, you could have 10x your money just off that free advice. But yet, if somebody else hits you up, somebody else that don't look like us, you respond to that. You'll do whatever nonsense they're talking about. They tell you to stick $10,000 in the bank. You're going to do that. They tell you to buy real estate when real estate is at all-time highs. You're going to do that. You should go after every single real estate person in the past 6 months that told you to buy something. Because the markets are crashing just as I predicted they would. Everybody in my group, we know that this crash was coming, it's going to continue. See, I said that even though it's a crypto group, we talk about everything. So I have consulted with people and told them, like, yo, you should sell your house. And some people have. One of the dudes that became a millionaire sold his house and became a millionaire. Now, fortunately and unfortunately, one of the best dudes in the world, not a brother. You see what I'm saying? And so throughout my life, when it comes to these finances, I get more support, which I don't mind, but it's just like, it's interesting. I get more support from white folk than I do from my own people. And as much as I have tried to help people, as much as I've helped people become millionaires, do you know there should be at least 100 other black millionaires? At least. If they had just did 2 or 3 things that I said. At least 100. But it's not just me. I can't take it personal. It's not just me, it's us. We'll listen to a business idea from somebody else before us. We'll invest in a business idea with somebody else at the controls and the helm, but not us. And if we even think about investing $5 in a black company, we want to know what they eating for breakfast. Now, before I invest that money, now you said, do you eat bacon and ham or just bacon? Now, I got to know this before I invest this $4.99. We scrutinize them. But if a white dude put on a suit, an Italian dude put on a suit, Asian dude, whatever, we'll give them whatever with no due diligence. Or if they are black, they have to have a Bentley, they got to wear suits and all that. And automatically, those people you should look at with side eye because everything is set up for you to look at that. That's why I come to you like this. I'm coming to you regular so you can hear my words. But yet, when you see people on here become a millionaire, then you see what I'm talking about. Then you see that the fruit is real. And what I'm saying is real. Right? So I'm just, I guess I'm just frustrated, whatever, but we are hurting us. The only people that's hurting us is us. In order for us to go to the next level, we're going to have to work with each other. And I'm talking about on all levels. Even the NBA level, I see the same things happening. So many NBA dudes, NFL dudes lose their money. Why? Because they invest in businesses that were proposed to them by people who don't have the same background. And the whole time it was just a scam to take their money. Like they're purposefully trying to take your money. Meanwhile, there are brothers out there, black women out there doing great work, and we won't go with them. We won't invest with them. We won't even come to the meeting. We won't even look, do our due diligence. Right? Or if we do invest, it's $4, it's $17. It's not the money that they need. Meanwhile, you sitting on the money. Who do you think that's hurting? Other communities don't do that. White people don't do that to each other, not to a man. Not to say that every white person has ever asked for something has gotten it. That's not true. But I'm just saying white people will support their own people, especially family, more than we do. Jewish people do not do that. Jewish people have a whole system that they can tap into when they need funding and things like that. Asian people don't do that. It's just us that will not only not invest, but also try to keep people from getting involved. We'll actually hate. We will hate before we get involved. It's amazing to me. And it's only going to hurt us because meanwhile, our net worth is going down and down and down, or it's treading water, and every other group, their net worth is getting higher. That's why Latinos and that group has surpassed black people in the United States now. because Latinos in general, they help each other. They work with each other. They build houses together. They build communities together. When they come over here, however they get over here, because they're trying to escape real life situations, it'll be 9, 10 to a house. Of course, you can stay here, my friend. Yes, you can stay here. They teach them skills and stuff like that until they can get out on their own. We don't have anything like that to my knowledge. If you do, put it in the comments below. So I want today, for those of you who are watching this, and it might only be 1 or 2 of you, let today be the first day where we like, all right, I'm going to do stuff purposefully for my people. I'm going to be open-minded. I'm going to look everywhere, take advice from people that look like me who have similar experiences. I'm going to still vet them, right? Still do that. But, I'm going to listen to more than just those other folk, because I'm telling you, purposefully, there are some groups out here giving you bad information on purpose. On purpose, they're giving you bad information because they really don't want you to win. Warren Buffett said something, and I'll end it with this. He said something. By the way, Warren Buffett was just found that one of his companies was redlining. Now, that was surprising to me, but again, this is kind of stuff I'm talking about. And so they asked Warren Buffett, okay, how should people invest their money? And he said, well, what I tell 99% of people is just to invest in the S&P 500. Just invest in the S&P 500, you can't beat that. That's what I tell 99% of people. But what does he tell the other 1%? See, they're not telling you everything because they don't want you to come up. They don't want you to be on their level for sure. So we got to support each other so we can tell each other everything so we can all come up together. It's your boy BSG. I'm going to holler at y'all in the next video.